I'm Krista Lundy, for those of you that don't know me, and I'm the director at the Meadville Chamber, and I have one incredible team. And they are out doing some things, drawing some door prizes for you, and Eileen Mullen from the Chamber Foundation is in here, and I will recognize them later, but I am so proud to be part of that team and represent you, our Chamber members and community members. But first of all, ladies, please look to your left, look around to your right, behind you, and in front of you. What you are seeing is an incredible and diverse group of women. We are mothers, we are daughters, we are sisters. I'm very proud to have mine here. Spouses, significant others, friends. I'm very honored to have many great friends here, some from kindergarten. Where's Holly Sprong? Good friends since kindergarten. Since kindergarten, that's just a couple years ago. And the greatest part about my job, I love what I do, but the greatest part about my job is some of the great friends, some of my best friends I have made through being a chamber director. We are business leaders. We are community leaders, entrepreneurs. Many of you in this room are entrepreneurs, and so much more. We are here supporting other women, our business colleagues, our friends, our peers, or just people you are meeting this evening. We're a room full of community-minded, passionate, intelligent, business-savvy, community leaders, and I know I see many future leaders in this room. Whether this is your first time attending our event or you've been to many, thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to be here. Events and programs like this are not possible without many people and special people that make them happen. At this time, I would like to thank a few of those before I introduce our speakers. Our premier sponsors that help make this event possible, the ladies from Allegheny College, Bayshore Homes, and Griner Extrusion, and I'll have you hold your applause till the end because I have many to thank. Platinum sponsor, Armstrong, and thank you to Kevin for always being at these and recording this event so others can hear from these great speakers that we have. You can watch this later on the Armstrong ad channel. Our inspiration sponsors, Accutech Precision Aerospace, Channel Lock, Northwest Bank, T.L. Robertson Insurance, and Vision Source Meadville. Our spirit sponsors, Crawford Christian Academy, Erie Bank, Northern PA Regional College, Northwestern REC, Train Servicing Disabled, and Street Track and Trail. Thank you to all of our sponsors. Thank you to all of our vendors. We have the largest number of vendors that we've ever had. I've been at this chamber for 9 years. This event was going on before that, and I'm thrilled to say that this is our largest number. I mentioned earlier a few great friends that I've made here. I want to welcome and thank people that have come from a ways away to see what we have in Meadville. There's a lot of vendors that are displayed. There are a lot more that aren't here, but a lot of people are coming here to see what is available and what is offered in our community. And I have friends here from Titusville, from Townville. A few of those mentors that I made and leaders when I first started in the chamber industry 14 years ago were Tracy Becker from the Clarion Chamber and Susan Williams from the Venango Chamber. And since then, they have become two of my best friends, and they came tonight to support us and brought some of their chamber friends. So thank you to Tracy and Susan. Please stand, ladies. We were just in Gettysburg last week at a chamber conference, and I'm proud to say 3/4 of those chamber professionals were women in that room. And that wasn't the way it used to be many years ago. It was the good old boys club. So I'm very proud to say that, and these ladies were my mentors and now my great friends. The Women's Group Roundtable that meets the fourth Monday of every month. Please stand if you have ever been to one of those meetings because this group deserves a round of applause. They are the ones that plan this event. Please stand if you've ever been part of that Business Women's Roundtable group. And please be sure to join us for the upcoming months and all of 2023. We meet on the fourth Monday of every month and we talk about upcoming events that we have and issues, and we meet at a different chamber member business each month. So please join us for those. And I do have to say happy birthday to Terry Carney. Where are you, Terry? I told you I was going to put you in the spot. Is she in here? She left. Oh, okay. I won't sing her happy birthday then. I won't put you through that. So, but now on to what you are in this room for and here for. And I have two dynamite speakers for you I'm so excited about. The first person. This woman has always felt a calling to serve others who are less fortunate. Often that is providing for needs in our local community, and sometimes it means traveling to other countries to provide eye exams and glasses to those who don't have access to care. It is also working with organizations that rescue individuals out of human trafficking situations. At Vision Source Meadville, that she and her husband own, they believe in vision and mottos. Literally, some of their mottos are on the wall if you have not been in there. We believe. Life is less about sight and more about vision. Business isn't about making a profit. It is about using that profit to meet the needs of others. By working together, we can make a difference in this hurting world. As for Kim, a few personal things. She has an incredible singing voice, performance-worthy, I'm told. I know firsthand that she's an exceptional cook. She's cooked for some of the events that we've had there. I would have you cook for me any day. And as you can see, when she comes up here, she is a beast in the gym, and she is going to be a trainer at Bill Lawrence, so kudos to you. She's taking on coaching there to help others launch into a lifestyle of health, strength, and confidence. Ladies, please give a warm welcome to our first speaker of the evening, Kim Adsit of Vision Source Meadville.
Hi, wow, thanks so much. Thanks, Krista. You said such nice things, and I know Michelle put you up to some of those things, so thank you. This is a great event to be a part of. It really is inspiring to see all of you ladies here. I can't believe there's this many people here. I mean, this is wonderful. Having attended in the past, it's always been a great attendance, but wow, this is wonderful. When I think about the community that we have the privilege of serving in, and I'm going to have to cheat here as well, just like Krista said, so being a certain age, wow, I'll tell you. When I think about the community that we have the privilege of serving in, I see so many other businesses who care deeply about the people around them. This spring, when we were awarded a small business award from the Diamond Awards that the Chamber does every year, that was an incredible honor. We were truly in awe of the work that the other nominees were doing. So many people serving our community, wanting to just reach out to people in need and help. It really was amazing to see almost every single business that was noted that night had some qualities to them, some sort of philanthropic ideas that they wanted to make life better for people who live in Meadville and Crawford County. And I just think that's amazing. But thanks for the accolade. We were really excited to win, of course. But it was an honor to just have Vision Source be among those fantastic businesses. I hope tonight to share a little bit more with you about why we do business the way we do business. And maybe along the way I can inspire some of you to reach out even more into the world and come alongside others that are in need. Before Chris and I opened our practice back in 1996, how about that? So that shows that I'm older than probably half the population in the room. We really probably didn't have what we'd call grand dreams. We knew we wanted a cold start practice. We knew we just wanted to open something that was going to start with us. We weren't going into a corporate business. We weren't going to come alongside and have to work with another doctor who was already in business. We wanted to just do what was going to be our thing. We knew we wanted to stay close to home and family, which is Conneaut Lake. That's where we're originally from. And we didn't want to carry any debt, if at all possible. Our first location was in the first floor of a house on North Main Street. And that was purchased for us by Chris's aunt and uncle. They knew that we, as 26-year-old kids, couldn't get enough credit to buy something like that, especially having just graduated from school. So they went ahead and purchased that, and we rented from them. My dad built our display cases. We hung wallpaper. See, again, it's really a long time ago. We painted. We cleaned out a very dingy, gross basement. We prayed. We prayed a lot. We ran an ad on CTV 13. Does anybody remember that that time? Yeah, we put a sign in our yard with so much information on it. I'm not sure how anybody actually knew that this was the business that was there. We got a phone number, which is still our phone number today, and we got an ad in the Yellow Pages. We bought a fax machine and a copy machine, and they weren't the same machine because they weren't like that back then. Probably one ream of paper because we probably didn't need much. We got an appointment book and a daily ledger book for our patients because we couldn't afford a computer. We learned about vision insurances and health insurances that our local businesses were using for their employees. And we also discovered that a large portion of our community was without insurance or was on state assistance. And because of that, we realized there's a different need here than what maybe we learned in school. This caused us to evaluate what needs would truly be addressed beyond just basic glasses, contact lenses, and eye health exams. We knew that we couldn't be all things to all people, but we recognized that we could strive to come as close as possible to that if we were truly seeing the needs around us rather than just doing a needed job. Chris and I decided then, before a patient ever walked through our door, that helping those that could not help themselves was of the utmost importance to us. We also wanted to be able to support other individuals who were like-minded with us, like pastors or missionaries or people who are in community-funded groups who are reaching out to people and helping them. Those people make a lot of sacrifices in their own lives in order to help others. Our commitment to this way of business was strong, and we actually had it tested the very first December we were open. So that December, we had 3 patients on our book for the entire month. So to give you perspective, we have 55 patients a day in our Meadville office at this point with 2 doctors. So 3 patients for the entire month, and one of them happened to be an overseas missionary. And we had already decided, well, we were going to give him his, if he needed any glasses, we were going to take care of him and everything. So when we did that, he didn't know what our fledgling business was going through, and we didn't really know what his family situation was, but we just felt that that was the right thing to do. So the business actually made $800 that month. Actually, we took in $800. We didn't make $800. We collected $800 because I think somebody came in and bought an extra pair of glasses. And but you know what? We actually were able to pay our bills. We were actually able to pay our one employee who happened to also be our aunt. We were able to pay her salary. And you know, God provides. It's just an amazing thing. So we ended up spending 13 years in that tiny little office on North Main Street. It was a nice place to be, and the location served us well. We eventually bought out the property from our aunt and uncle, and we did minor remodeling, and we had tenants who lived upstairs, and we found out we're terrible landlords, so we weren't going to do that any longer. When we relocated to our current location on South Main Street, the North Main office became the first location for the Calvary Biblical Counseling Ministry, which is located up at Calvary Church now. It was used as a comfortable environment for those seeking healing. Several years ago, the property was purchased by the Sisters of St. Joseph, and it continues to serve our community by providing warmth, healing, and safety for men in our community who are in need by way of St. James Haven. We don't believe that it's any coincidence that this location is continuing to be used in a prominent way within our community to serve those who are in need. God honors those who honor the poor. By 2007, we knew we needed to find ways to grow our business that weren't just limited to seeing more patients. You can always see more people. You can always find ways to do that. But to do things that were very constructive for our business and not limit things are important, especially when we're seeking to serve others. This mindset, as altruistic as it may seem, for us was grounded in faith. As Christians, we love to claim promises of God's blessing, of His abundance, but we have to also acknowledge the responsibility that is placed upon us to walk out that faith in our daily lives. Are we doing what we can to serve others? Do we actually believe that our business is God's business? Around this time, Chris asked a friend who happened to have an extremely successful optometry practice in North Carolina what helped him to set his business apart from other businesses. And he said Vision Source. He was a terrible salesperson for Vision Source because he had no idea what Vision Source actually is other than it saved him money. Well, we're all for saving money, right? Everybody would agree with that. So we looked into it, and it turns out that Vision Source is the largest group of independent optometrists in the United States. To give you a point of reference, so Pearl Visions, there's about 650 of them. We've all heard of that. Lens Crafters, 935. Vision Source, there are 3,100 Vision Source offices in the United States, but probably about 9 of you have heard of Vision Source, and it's because we call ourselves that here in town, right? We had never heard of Vision Source either. The reason is, as a member of Vision Source, you don't have to call yourself that. You have complete freedom because you're independent. But there are a lot of advantages to being a part of a group like that. The organization has strict qualifications, and we met that, so we joined. It was easily the best business decision we ever made, and the reason is, it opened the door for us to meet other doctors who are like-minded and doing business the way we do. We started meeting people who were quite like-minded and realized that other people think it's okay to not only do this to make a profit, it's okay to give some of that profit away. We also found out that the doctor who founded Vision Source also founded a ministry called Sight Ministries International. It's a nice little mission agency. They provide eye exams, and they brought glasses to people in underserved parts of the world. They team up with missionaries and pastors in local churches, and they have the opportunity to share the gospel with the individuals who attend their clinics. We knew that this was the next step for us as a business. Our first trip abroad took us to the San Blas Islands in Panama. We got to get there from Panama City. We had to go up over a mountain with 4-wheel drive on like a regular road, and I did not take enough Dramamine, so it was a terrible trip. And then we had to get to the coast, and then we got into these things called cayucas, which are a big hollowed out tree. It's like a canoe, but it goes in the ocean with a little outboard stinky motor, and like 7 people get in there, and you go, ah! And you go out beyond where there's any land that you can see, and it's a little weird and terrifying. And then you get off on a dock, and there's these kids who are happy to see you, so it's kind of fun. But yeah, we piled all our stuff into there. The kids meet us. They show us our huts where we're going to stay for 3 or 4 nights. We put up our hammocks. So here's a question. You live on an island. It doesn't have any running water. It doesn't have any electricity. Where do you suppose the bathroom is? It's on the end of the dock. So another cultural shock moment, was that I couldn't figure out what birds I kept hearing in the middle of the night. They just kept making all this noise inside the hut where we were staying. Yeah, they have brown fur and 4 legs and a long tail. They're not birds. And they run up through the rafters and down to your hammock. Yeah, it was very different. But the people we met there were amazing. The smiles on their faces as we were able to provide care to them. The glasses that we took were just so well received. It was an amazing opportunity. We saw about 250 people on that trip, which isn't a lot, but that's 250 people that had their life changed because they had sight that they didn't have a week before. Since then, we've had the opportunity to travel to several other Central and South American countries. We've also gone to Africa. We've had the opportunity to take our aunt and uncle, again, the same people, with us on the couple trips. Our children have been able to go with us as well. Several of these trips were on a much larger scale than that Panama trip was. In fact, the last trip we took to Costa Rica several years ago, we saw over 2,700 patients in 4 days. So it is amazing. And again, you're seeing life change. You have opportunities to provide glasses to a person who can't see across the table to you. You give them a pair of glasses, then now, not only can they see your face and you look normal, they now have something that they can do in their own life that will provide for their family, will allow them to have something normal. There are more people living in poverty, that live in poverty with functional blindness, which means it can be corrected with glasses, than there are not who live in poverty in the world. So, our own personal interest in mission work continued to grow, and so did our business. We'd moved to our current location, which is on South Main Street, if you've never been there, and we needed an associate doctor, and that's when Dr. Mitchell came along, and I think many of you see him as a patient already. Also, the number of people on our staff really started to grow. Quite honestly, our patients had always come to us saying, wow, you have such nice people who work here, and I feel really good when I come in here, and there's a different atmosphere here than there is anywhere else. And we knew that to be true, and it's because we had amazing people working there. But we also knew we weren't necessarily that good at really promoting that and continuing to help that happen. We recognized our need to develop ourselves as leaders and to promote our staff better as individuals. We also were humbled when we realized that we just didn't know how to do it day to day. Started reading leadership books like John Maxwell and Patrick Lencioni. And then we heard about a guy named Simon Sinek. Yeah. If you don't know, if you're not one of the people that went, you need to get on YouTube and search for Start With Why, How Great Leaders Inspire Action. Cynic explains in this short TED Talk that people will buy into your why you do what you do, not what you do or how you do it. He tells us our why is the thing we give to the world. We must look inside ourselves to discover it. This was the missing puzzle piece for us at that time. Sure, we're a busy office. Our doctors were great at providing excellent eye care. We sold beautiful glasses, but we were more than that. But unless somebody asked us, meaning myself or Chris, personal questions, a lot of our staff didn't know how to articulate that. We just didn't want to be bosses who did nice things for people or went on trips. We really wanted to see our staff embrace this as their own and have a say in doing those nice things. We wanted them to be empowered. And so we changed our mission statement. Our mission is to shine the light and love of Jesus Christ by meeting the physical needs of those around us. That's what we want to give to the world. And the ability to communicate that well has really truly made the difference for how our business operates. With a clear reason in front of all of us as to why we're doing what we do, many other practice aspects started to fall into place. We began to better understand the difference between managing people in their jobs and leading people to become a better version of themselves. Within reason, we stopped just hiring people because they had a certain skill or had a certain type of education. But we looked for people who had a great personality and a desire to care for other people. Through some fun tools, we all learned together what our personality types are, what our love languages are, and how knowing those things about each other allows for us to care for one another on a deeper level as workmates. We had a mind-blowing discovery that it is important to be really good at what you're really good at, instead of trying to be a little less bad at the things you're really bad at. And that is something, and I'm going to say that again. You need to become really good at what you're really good at, not a little less bad at the things you're really bad at. And that is another great video you should watch. Marcus Buckingham. He's really great to listen to because he has dreamy blue eyes and a really great accent. But yeah, so, but the trombone player is what that video is called. And it is absolutely excellent and will inspire you in how you lead your team. We also encouraged our staff to become the hero. If there's a problem presented during a day, we wanted them to be able to solve it without needing to ask permission. We wanted the team to be confident in finding solutions as they heard concerns from our patients. With the direction of our practice manager, Michelle Orndorff, our weekly staff meetings, they transformed from this necessary drudgery of making sure we all know how to do things right on the computer or the stuff that nobody wants to talk about, into Wednesday Well Done, where we get to celebrate amazing stories within the practice, grow personally, grow professionally, and we play some really, really fun games together. We also established our Office Compassion Fund, where each location, and we actually have 3 of them if you don't know, for 5 years now we have locations in Meadville, Titusville, and Oil City. Each location has $500 every month that the staff members can use however they decide. They are able to give that money away, whether it's for services, whether it's for materials, in any way that will be helpful to patients who are in need. And they are allowed on their own to make those decisions. They never have to ask a manager or anybody else a question. They can do that. And you should see the shout-outs they give to one another when they get to celebrate these moments of really impacting and helping to change someone's life. They're able, let's see, where am I? The outpouring of compassion that we've seen over the years through our staff is incredibly overwhelming. And I just want to say here, I really think that part of the reason we're really good at that is our staff is primarily women. And that's not knocking the guys. I mean, obviously, my husband has an awful lot to do with all of these things that are going on too. But women have a heart of compassion. We are mothers, we are daughters, we are sisters, we are caregivers. It's in us. It makes us uniquely able to be sensitive to the needs of those around us. We're able to make the jump from this is a person who has a need to this is a person who has a need and it hurts my heart too. Proverbs 31:20 says, she opens her hand to the poor and reaches out her hands to the needy. As all of these changes were happening, we started to realize we're actually becoming a practice with purpose, which is our tagline. During this time, good friends of ours, Tim and Lynn Cox, were sensing that they were being called to a different kind of mission work as well. very different than medical missions. At that time, Tim was a parole officer, but knew there was a purpose for him beyond the law enforcement system here in Pennsylvania. He was becoming interested in how to rescue people who are trapped in human trafficking and became involved with a local group that does this very thing. The first trip he took was to Pakistan. Prior to going, he did some fundraising, specifically to have cash to be able to physically purchase people back from their slavery situation. As appalling as this is, it's culturally acceptable there. The day at church that Tim presented his proposed trip, we saw pictures of children as young as 2 years old turning bricks in fields in the heat all day long, with no hope of ever actually leaving that situation because their parents owned a debt that could never be paid. We learned that there are over 40 million people around our world who are in slavery now, whether it's debt bondage, whether it's human trafficking, and many other situations we can't even imagine. Most of us can't strap on tactical gear and go bust down a door and haul people out of these situations, but a guy with the skill set, like Tim has, can. Chris and I were really moved as he spoke, knowing that we were going to support his endeavors. At the very same time, our 12-year-old daughter was feeling the very same thing, and she knew she needed to do something. She told us after church she wanted to help Tim, so we assumed she wanted to give money from, like, her birthday fund or Christmas and stuff like that. And she said no, she thought it was a little bigger than that. So she wanted to bake cupcakes. And we're like, okay, and see if anyone would buy them. She would then donate the money to Tim's trip so that children could be bought out of slavery. She's hoping to maybe make $100 or so. Didn't even know if that was possible. So we prayed. Hannah came up with flavors of cupcakes. We made flyers. She even drew an adorable logo called Compassion Cupcakes with these 2 little girls on it. And God allowed her to raise $4,500. Tim and the team went to Pakistan with that, and they were able to rescue nearly 300 individuals on that trip. So I tell you about Hannah's cupcake story, not because she's my kid and I think it's awesome, because that's true too, but to introduce you to what has become the biggest compassion project that Vision Source Meadville, Vision Source Titusville, and Oil City Eye Associates are part of. It's called the Grey Samaritan. The Grey Samaritan is a nonprofit organization founded by Tim and Lynn Cox. It's dedicated to eliminating human trafficking by providing effective training, assistance, and consulting to law enforcement and agencies so that they can successfully find, arrest, and prosecute human traffickers. Not only does Tim travel many times a year now to very difficult countries with horrendous situations, he also has a team that trains others to recognize and defend the helpless. Isaiah 1:17 has inspired their tagline, and that's seeking justice for the oppressed, rescuing the vulnerable from their oppressors, and defending them against future abuses. Over the past 3 years, our Vision Source offices have been able to raise and donate over $35,000 to the Grey Samaritan. I asked Lynn what I could share with all of you about what they're doing right now with Grey Samaritan. They did a survey trip to Uganda. Within the next week, they're going to Ecuador. There are upcoming trips planned to several different parts of Africa. While Tim's in Ecuador, the team is going to be going to a home for girls who are recovering from being trafficked. Because, see, post-care is important. Just getting people out of a situation is one thing. Giving them a life afterwards is very important. The homes in the mountains of Ecuador, it's very safe. They have greenhouses, horses, and other things to help them heal in their recovery time. The team will be visiting the girls, leaving gifts for them, and it'll be mostly personal items, things that have meaning for them. They're working locally. They live in the Carlisle area with their DA's office. They're hoping to be able to start investigating for them, and there's a lot of trafficking actually in that area. It's not too far from DC. They're also collaborating with a group out of Lancaster called North Star Initiative. They're trying to work together with what their areas of expertise are. Yesterday, Tim had a meeting with a lady who's his advised at a national level. She goes to Washington all the time to talk about human trafficking and what it looks like in our country. He was able to pick her brain about what he's going to be able to now do in the States, too. We're committed through our offices and as individuals to help raise money and awareness for the Grey Samaritan. And any one of our staff members, they are able to share Tim's vision with you. We'd encourage you to check out their website, and then at our table we have merchandise and lots of information about the Grey Samaritan if you're interested. Stop over, because we would really love to see if you want to get involved, whether it's here, whether it's one of our offices. We would love to tell you more about how you can get involved fighting against human trafficking. As we look to the future, we have some really exciting opportunities. The shutdown in 2020 caused Chris to reevaluate how business is structured, and that's great. Doing a deep dive into that is an important thing at any time. It quickly became evident that our economy locally, globally, would be changing. And we've all experienced changes in the service, right, that we receive or the products that we're buying. Quality has changed. The ability to receive things is just, it's very difficult. We wanted to be able to counter this in some small part in our practice. Hence, we now have a sister business called OJM Labs. It's run by our lab optician, Ken Orndorff. It's located at our newly remodeled Titusville office. If you ever are in Titusville and would like to take a tour of our new Titusville office, Bev and Riley would be happy to do that for you. It's really, really lovely. But this lab venture has allowed us to control the quality of the products we're offering, and that makes us proud. It's also allowed us to restructure the prices we can offer to our patients, many times at much greater cost savings than even a vision plan will provide. Our fully loaded pricing offers fantastic lenses with all the bells and whistles and at a price point that's extremely competitive. We're so happy to provide pricing relief at a time when a lot of businesses are having to raise their prices. This time has also opened a door for us to be able to establish our own 501c3 nonprofit. We call it Only Jesus Ministries. A song that, there's a group called Casting Crowns, a song that I see lots of nods, a song they had several years ago has that in the title. And there's a line that says, I don't want to leave a legacy. I don't care if they remember me, only Jesus. And that line was so impactful because it really speaks to how we want our business to be. We don't care if anybody ever remembers it. Our name actually isn't on the door. That's why it says Vision Source. It's not us. So as we've shared with others about raising money for missions, going on trips, and supporting others, we've had people come up and ask us how could they be a part? What could they do to contribute to this? By forming our nonprofit, we now have a vehicle to be able to receive funds and put it towards other mission projects. And some of that will be local, some of that will be global, and we can't wait to see what God's going to be able to do with the aid that can come through a nonprofit like this. So in conclusion, I'd like to share with you our purpose statements that Krista already read so nicely, but I think it's worth repeating. And these are somewhere in all of the Vision Source, Meadville, Titusville, or Oil City offices. They do a great job of defining our why. We believe that life is less about sight and more about vision. We believe that we were created to love and serve our fellow man. We believe business is about more than making a profit. It's about using that profit to help meet the needs of others. We believe God has called us to love as He loves. We believe that by working together, we can make a difference in this hurting world. Thanks so much for including me in this program tonight. It's an honor to be asked and an honor to be able to share what we want to give the world.
And of course, I have been to the Meadville office, and I have also been to their Titusville office. It is so welcoming for those of you girls that work there. It was wonderful to go there, and I got a full tour. And I made a donation that day to the Good Samaritan Fund. You had a lot of prizes there, and lo and behold, I won a pair of sunglasses. So it was wonderful. So be sure to check those places out in there or in Oil City. But I'm very excited about our next speaker as well. She is a wife and mompreneur. Mompreneur. I love this word. I loved it when I saw it on your page. She is a mompreneur of 6 beautiful humans. Wow. She is the owner and founder of Ashley's Chic Boutique, a Facebook-based shopping community that has reached millions. Yes, I said millions of women worldwide since 2018. What started as a way to pay for private schooling for her special needs kiddos has turned into so much more. Her mission is very simple: to inspire entrepreneurs to have the courage to turn their dreams into their reality by providing them with framework to scale and serve their communities, and by teaching them to curate their own unique chic lifestyle. With proven results, you can see Ashley is ready to help you take your business and your mindset to the next level. She and her team are absolutely full of energy. I remember when I heard there's this new business in Lionsville, you should check it out. I've started following your Facebook page. Their energy is contagious. As soon as you watch them online or step into the storefront in Lionsville, be sure to check that out. They are way more than what they appear in that brick and mortar or online, like our first speaker. They give to numerous local nonprofit organizations on a regular basis and are very community-minded. When not working, I know Ashley loves to travel, whether this is with her family or with her team that is like her family. She's a social media dynamo and has been a role model and inspiration to many boutique owners as well as her followers. Ladies, please help me welcome Ashley Ryckman of Chic Lifestyle.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you, Krista. It's such an honor, honestly, to be here, to have the ability to speak in front of and into each and every one of you who own businesses here in the local area as well. By a show of hands, can you guys raise your hand if you own a business in Crawford County or are a female business owner, obviously? Awesome, awesome. And then friends and family. And by the way, MLM direct sales, I count that as well. Business owners. Thank you, guys. So I want to tell you a little bit about my story, and then because I'm also kind of a practical person, I would like to share with you guys just some social media strategies that you can use in your businesses and take home today to put in your toolbox as well. I had the opportunity to meet Kim at lunch today, and we actually really connected in a lot, actually, of our story and our vision and what we're trying to do in the world. And one of the things I wanted to talk to you guys today about a little bit was to know your personal why. That was my number one. And Simon Sinek, if you have not watched that TED Talk or read his Start with a Why, it's really important. You know, when I started this business, my why was, you know, to have enough money at the end of the month. My why was to be able to take my family on a vacation and not have to use a credit card to do it. My why was to not have to use public assistance to be able to pay for groceries. And my why was to be able to send my child, who really wasn't learning well in a public school setting, to a school that could help him and help him even to not even need an IEP because he had a little bit more care. And so I know a lot of you are wives and you're moms, and you kind of understand that, you know, sometimes the why is just really practical. It's because you need something. And when I started my company back in 2018, that was it. You know, we started in our garage. Some of the people who helped me are actually sitting in here today. My cousin Samantha got roped in, and Deanna was on our first live sale, and I borrowed my dad's credit card and had a dream and purchased my first boutique order of clothing and went live for the first time back in 2018 out of my garage. I think we went live for like 4 hours at a time. We would manually invoice after that for hours. We were handwriting tags and taking things to the post office to be shipped. And while it was quaint and it was hard, I feel like those are the things that built us. Those are the things that kind of show you in that brass tacks startup, when you're in the startup of business, really what you're made of. You know, business isn't easy, and if you guys own a business and or support a woman in this room that does, you understand that it's more than just selling a product or serving a client. You know, there's a lot that goes into that. And so I have been so blessed to have a team who cared as much as I did. And so our why was just that, you know, it was just, we're going and we're doing this thing. And in the beginning, I really didn't have any great dreams, except that, you know, we were a family of 8 living on $40,000 a year. And I just wanted to have a little something more. And it quickly, you know, grew into, it's interesting now, you know, 100,000 followers we have on our Facebook page. Our private group has over 8,000. We analytically reach millions of women every single month. And at the beginning, I did this because I needed to make money. And what I didn't expect was that I would need these humans that I was showing up in their living rooms every night as much as they needed me. We were selling clothes and we were selling makeup and we were kind of, selling handbags. And from time to time I would get emails and someone would say, I'm going through something and I saw your video. I was, contemplating suicide and you just have this light about you. I was entertained and I stopped and it stopped me from doing that. Or, I'm going through something in my life and through, being a mom, being a wife, taking care of everybody else like we do, I kind of stopped taking care of me. And they bought a lipstick or they bought a shirt and they started feeling good about themselves again. And I say jokingly, but really not really, that we don't really sell wigs, clothing, cosmetics, we sell confidence. Our customers come back, we have an 87% retention rate, and that's because we show women that it's okay to play. It's okay to try a red lipstick. Oh my gosh, right? We might try a red lipstick or a pink lipstick, or we might try a wig or a shirt that's a crop top, and holy moly, next thing you know, you're really starting to love yourself again. So our why was a need for my family, and it has grown into a need to allow other women to recognize that whether it's a lipstick, whether it's a shirt, whether it's starting your own business, our mission statement now is to teach women that they deserve it. Like Kim, we have been really involved in different ministries specifically for women. So whether it's Center for Family Services type things, whether it's also, giving to human trafficking, we believe that all women are loved, valued, and purposed, and that they deserve to live a life where they feel empowered in whatever it is that they want to do. So my first thing that I wanted to share with you guys was to start with a why. I think sometimes we hear things like mission, vision, values, and mission statements for companies, and we sort of gloss over that. But it's really important as a business owner to know your why. And it's because this isn't easy. It's because there's going to be days where you kind of want to cry or kind of want to have a mental breakdown. And if you don't have a why that's strong enough to get you out of bed when it's really, really hard, and also an amazing team that believes in your why just as deeply as you do, you're going to have a really hard time in this world. So starting with a why was really, really important to me. The second was, what problem do you solve and how do you solve it better than anyone else? There are a million boutiques in the world. And sometimes I think as women who potentially have a lot of competitors in whatever market we're in, this is a very diverse room, which is super cool too. But Kim doesn't own the only eyeglass store, right? I don't own the only boutique in this room. However, I know in my heart that I do it differently than any other boutique owner in this room. Just like Christine from Chateau Christine does it differently than any other boutique owner in this room. And so if you can decide what is it that I'm going to offer someone and do it in a way that is different from anyone else, you are going to have clients that continue to come back. And what has been really amazing for me is this idea of confidence. We started with clothing, and a friend of mine was actually diagnosed with cancer back in 2019. She has since lost her battle with breast cancer. But when she was going through that, she was kind of starting to experiment with wigs. She really had beautiful hair, and it was really debilitating for her. She had kind of lost this part of herself that she felt made her a woman. And, I also had another friend that had alopecia at the time, and so they started wearing wigs, and for me, I was like, well, I'm spending all this time doing my makeup to go live, and I would really just love to wear a wig because it seems easier. So I started wearing wigs, and of course my community was like, oh my gosh, where did you get that? How did you do this? So we started manufacturing back in 2020. We started bringing in wigs. That has become our #1 product. So we design, we manufacture, actually in different countries all over the world. And something that's been really amazing for me in that is, the lips and the clothes and all of that was fun. But when I got to see, I remember there was a woman who messaged me and said, my granddaughter is graduating from high school. And I felt so embarrassed to go to her graduation because I was losing hair. And I just don't think that I don't think you understand like what you have given back to me. I don't think you understand the confidence that I have now. And I'm sure many of you who are maybe unfamiliar with the idea of wigs probably think, well, this is something that, cancer, hair loss due to COVID. Staggeringly, about 75% of the women that come to me, they just don't want to do their hair anymore. And, they start, come on, how much, you're a beautician, I love you, don't hate me. No, but seriously, we are very busy women, and especially if I have hairy hair. I have curly hair, and it was like really unmanageable, and I'd get all ready to go, and then I'd get hot, and then it's a poof, and it was a disaster, and so we recognized that it wasn't just people who felt like they needed it. Not that anybody needs hair. We have some clients in our community that are so beautiful bald, by the way. But they just wanted something else. Like, it's fun. If you were a little girl like me, I loved playing dress up when I was a little girl. When I was a little girl, I was talking about this actually with my cousin, if you could think back, what was the first thing you wanted to be when you were a little girl? Before someone told you that you can't do that because you won't make enough money, or, maybe it's not really, manageable for you. What was the first thing? And I wanted to be a performer. Man, I wanted to be on a stage from the time that I was probably 5 years old. And I wanted to be a singer, and I wanted to be an actress, and I wanted to wear beautiful clothes and spend time with beautiful people. And the really interesting thing is that life kind of has a way when you, even if life happens, all of us have had traumas happen to every single one of us. We've had things that have, derailed our dreams along the ways, or little chips in confidence that made us question whether or not we deserve it, or whether or not we could do it, or whether or not we were even worth it. And for me, it was really amazing that, God kind of in retrospect, I'm going live in my garage, and I'm showing up for these women even when I had a terrible day, and I'm starting to recognize and really believe in myself more. That first time I went live, I wasn't confident. I didn't think oh, she's all that. I saw every wrinkle and every extra pound and every stray hair, and I just kept doing it, and I just kept doing it, and I just kept doing it, and I just kept showing up. And I realized when we were having this conversation that I get to be that little girl. I get to dress up every day. I get to show other women and remind them how fun it is to just play and be feminine. We live in a world that tells us that we have to be as good as men, and sometimes have to work twice as hard to get there. And sometimes we lose that little piece of femininity that makes us women along the way, trying to adjust and adhere to everyone else's rules. Chic Lifestyle really is about learning how to play, learning how to not just put on clothes, but really feel confident in what you're doing. I realized, even just a couple months in, that we were actually teaching people to love themselves from the outside in. They would get a new makeup look or buy a wig and start to feel like maybe they could be pretty again. Maybe that woman who lost her husband could start dating again. Maybe that woman who was stuck in a terrible job could actually ask for a raise or find a better culture. Maybe someone whose kids were, had grown out of the nest could find a women's support group or start volunteering somewhere. And we don't recognize sometimes that as life chips those little pieces away from us, that we lose some of that. So what we really do is we give that back to women. We teach them to believe that they deserve it. We teach them that their dreams are absolutely possible no matter what they are. And I think that for me, that's one of the things, Kim talked a lot about culture. She does a lot of the same things. She does it with glasses. So what I want you guys to take away from this today is no matter the industry you're in, whether it's beauty, whether it's glasses, whether you're working in a tool and die machine shop, when you are very passionate about what you're doing, when you're passionate about the people that you serve, and you're passionate about your products and services transforming them, you will by default have an incredibly successful company, because you will be so passionate about it that you won't stop until you do. So Krista, she gave you, some of the practical social media. So that's the inspirational part of my speech for you guys tonight, really quickly. But I do want to give you some social media strategies in case you are thinking about having more of a social media presence. We did open up a brick and mortar store just about a couple months ago. It's been amazing to have a in-person presence and get to actually meet people that are coming into the store. But I do want to talk to you a little bit about online and what it has allowed us to do. So we are primarily Facebook based. I go live just about every single night and or have a team member that does. Actually, this entire room is team members and families, some who have moved from several states away to be a part of what we're doing here in this company because they believe so deeply in what we're doing. And so Facebook has been our home for the last 4 years. We do branch out into things like Instagram and TikTok, and that's fine wherever you want to stay or wherever you are already housed. What I recommend is to pick a platform. So if you are at a point in your business where you're like, okay, well, we've got some of this local business coming in, but I also want to grow on social media, my first recommendation to each one of you is to pick a platform. There's a lot of noise out there about you have to do TikTok or you have to do Instagram or you have to do all of the things. But if you are a business owner or even a woman in general, you know that if you're trying to do everything, you're not going to do any of them well, right? So start with something. I recommend I'm going to give you 3 tactics and then I'm hot too. So thank you guys for listening to me. First one is pick a platform, okay? And the second one, and if you don't know what platform to pick, think about your business structure and the age of those people, okay? So if you are serving a 40 and up crowd, Facebook's your jam, okay? You can cross over to TikTok a little bit. 40 and below, Instagram, TikTok's gonna be a little bit. I know some of you are over 40 and have TikTok. I'm not singling you out. I'm just saying most of you over 40 are not buying things on TikTok probably, okay? So pick a platform is number one. The second one that I would inspire each of one of you to do is to post 3 to 5 times a day. Now I understand that can be monotonous. People don't know what to post about. What has helped us to grow such a really amazing community is being us. Being authentically us. So you're not gonna see a lot of pictures of just a shirt. Everybody sells shirts. Most of us that are boutiques in this room probably have the same vendors that we sell from, okay? So, but what is gonna be different is, me talking in that shirt, my personality, or you as a business owner, or whoever you have representing that. Even if you're not in a product-based business, I know one of the girls that did the treats, the sweet treats and stuff, yes. What was your first name? Mary. Delicious. They were so good, Mary. They were fabulous. I can't wait to get more. But you could be posting about, why is this passionate for you? What are some of the specials that you're doing? Why do you love pumpkin? There's all kinds of ways to engage with a community wherever you guys want to be. So 3 to 5 times a day, but not posts. Everybody looks at stories. Everybody has social media. Okay, so I want you to pay attention to how you social, okay? So if you're trying to grow a business on social media, I want you to spend less time looking at it and more time studying the people who are doing what you're doing either better or similarly, and what is engaging for you from them, okay? So stories rule because they're the first thing people see when they click on to both Facebook and Instagram for the most part. Okay, so also people read from left to right, so keeping your stories full is really important. Omnipresence is important. If you're not in the faith community and you don't know what that word means, it basically just means being everywhere all of the time. And the way that you do that without driving yourself crazy is either hire someone or set an alarm in your phone, post on your stories 3 or 4 times a day. Not only are the people who are following you going to see that, but it's going to remind them several times. So can you cheat and post 4 things at the same time? Yes, but the point is that you're posting throughout the day and you're staying omnipresent in people's minds. I recommend posting once on whatever platform that you're on. And if you want to do reels and things like that, you absolutely can. But listen, guys, you eat an elephant by taking 1 bite at a time. And going back to that whole, if you try to do everything, you're going to get overwhelmed and say, forget it because I don't have time for this and it's not working. So posting 3 to 4 times a day, focusing on stories and content that shows more than the product that you sell. Kim made a really good point. Like, people don't buy shirts from me because I have the best shirts. They buy from me because they believe in me and my mission and what I'm doing. So you guys have to learn how to translate that to your audience on social media. The last thing that I want to leave you guys with is just engaging with the people who engage with you. I see so many businesses that they post and ghost. And really, social media, guys, it's about interaction. People don't want to be a number. People want to get to know you. They want to get to know your business. They want to know more about it. They want to know more about, why you're doing what you're doing. So having the ability to show up authentically, having the ability to, really show who you are as a human and as a business to these people is going to make all the difference in your social media strategy. The last thing I want to leave you guys with is truly understanding that each one of us is beautifully unique. Each one of us has a story. Each one of us have things that we have gone through. But if you're at a place or have ever been in a place where you're just feeling like you don't, you're just kind of doing it and you're having a hard time, remember to truly believe that you deserve it. Us as women, we put a lot of guilt and a lot of shame on ourselves. We put a lot of pressure to perform to, everyone else's expectations and even our own expectations. So learn how to really, for yourself, discover what it is you desire in life and what that purpose is, and then go wholeheartedly into believing that you deserve it. Thanks, guys, for having me tonight. It has been an honor.
One more big round of applause for both of our speakers. And I can truly tell you that our women's group will be at both of those locations in 2023, so please join us. And both Ashley and Kim had many similarities in what they discussed. Number one, being their faith. Number two, surrounding themselves with a very positive team that they trust, that are experts in what they do and believe in the mission and vision. And I'm very proud to say I have that same belief. And I would like to right now introduce the chamber team. And that would be Karen Stout, our Finance and Communications Coordinator. And we're missing one, Eileen Mullen from the Crawford County K-12 Career Education Alliance. And Megan Waters will be joining us momentarily. And I have been a chamber professional for 14 years. I've had various people on staff or as the team, and I can truly say this is the group that I think will move forward and lead our chamber for many years. I hope. So I plan to be there till I retire, and I think I have a great group that we complement one another well, and I'm very proud of that. So I just want to thank them. And here is Megan Waters coming over, our executive assistant. I also would be remiss if I didn't mention something, because the girls talked about a couple things. I truly believe in what the chamber does. We are connectors. We want to connect you to one another, businesses to other businesses. We are very fortunate that we have a chamber foundation with Eileen Mullen, who does tremendous things in our school systems, from career readiness at a young age to mock interviews with high school students, which I'm doing at my alma mater at Maplewood tomorrow. I'm so excited to go. But she does amazing things with students in all of our school districts, and that is because of our foundation. And we have a leadership program that is in its 13th year, that is one of the best in the state, that we've had other chambers model their leadership program after ours. How many of you are Leadership Meadville alumni in the room? I think there's, look at that, all right. So please ask any of these folks about our leadership program. We have events like this. We have a human resources roundtable group that meets the 4th Tuesday of every month. A businesswomen's roundtable group that meets the fourth Monday of every month. We have after hours every month that we're booked into 2023. We have probably 9 to 10 signature events, and that's just a few things that we do. It's a minimal investment in your organization or your business that I would love to talk to you about if you are currently not a chamber member, because I don't know why you wouldn't be. And you obviously want customers or clients from other places, not just where you're from. Like Ashley wants customers other than from Linesville, where her store is. And Kim, obviously, and her staff want clients other than in Oil City and Titusville and Meadville. And we have members that are from all over, and we're very proud of that, and we want to connect you to one another, and I'll get off that now. So, big thank you once again to all of our sponsors for this evening for making it possible, all of the vendors. Please do not rush out and leave. If you have time, please go back and visit with all those sponsors and the vendors and do some more shopping. Big thank you to Daniel and the Country Club for all that they've done for us. And thank you again, ladies, for joining us.